water, a blessing, now a challenge. This is the tale of the people of the southern parts of the country who are now living in suspended makeshift homes or have to flee their comfort zones following ravaging flood in their states.
The one that happened earlier was caused by about 6.66 meter height of the river, of the flood in Niamey, which has been coming down to Nigeria. Now, this one that we cited today is still on its way, which means the devastation that we witnessed for about 2 weeks now in Kebbi, in Kwara, in Niger states, and then eventually Lokoja and other states, more is still on its way advancing down to Nigeria.
From Niamey, Niger Republic, the flood moved downstream the Niger Basin to Kebbi State. From Kebbi, the water flowed further down to Niger, Kwara and Kogi states, leaving trails of devastation on several communities on the bank of the river Niger. From Lokoja, Kogi State, the flood flowed downward to the southern region of the country, impacting Edo, Delta, Anambra, Rivers, and Bayelsa states. 3 local government areas in Edo State, Etsako Central, Etsako East, and Esan Southeast, are among the most impacted. Udaba, Anegbete, Osomegbe, and neighboring communities in Etsako Central are famous for rice production. These communities are all submerged in the flood. Farmers in these communities are counting losses as against their yearly gains. Osagbe College in Udaba will not be opening for academic activities. Now, that school is not the only part of Udaba affected by the flood. The entire community is currently underwater. The locals here are basically farmers who depend on agricultural production to survive. An elder here, Matthew Ojo, says he invested huge sums of money to plant crops. Unfortunately, he will not be harvesting any because the entire farmland is also submerged in water.
The flood came on the 16th of September. So the thing drove us away from house. So it destroyed so many of my properties. So there's no one that I can save. Except only my children that I carry for back, some run away from the house. Well, there's nothing I can do than if anybody can help me. And before I can be able to meet up again, it will be next year.
And the money you don't put?
It don't go now. The money don't go in vain.
The dirty water where we dey drink. Now only God just dey save us. Who drink go dey cry say belle, we will put salt for the same water for the pikin. Go drink. Go bed down, purge. He go drink, go dey purge. He spoil our farm, evil business, customers no see way to come again. We dey sell rice, even the farm don spoil. No money, nothing. We just dey. Market no dey. No see our market, they no shade anything. Garri where we dey chop, river don spoil the cassava, nothing, we just dey.
Because of the flood, there is no classroom is vacant. All is occupied by water. Because of that, the students cannot be able to go to school. Even the teachers cannot be able to go to school.
Now, I no fit go school again. Teacher no fit come. Leave her there at school.
What's in there at school?
Leave her. Flood.
Health centers, schools, religious worship centers, and markets are all closed in the affected communities, forcing many to seek refuge in other locations, while some who have nowhere to run to stay put in the rains of the water.
I no feel it. I don't even see my leg. My leg even dey pain because of the water. This water is not good for our system, our body system. Our children just purgy, sick, so sickness every day. We went to hospital and treat our children.
Udaba is reawakening to sullen recovery. Indigents piecing bits of their lost livelihoods together. They carry basins full of hope on weary heads, determined to survive the floods. Famous as the food basket of Edo State is Ilushi in Esan Southeast, comprising 14 villages and 9 quarters, all lying low on the bank of the river Niger. Ilushi shares common boundary on the river with Ibaji in Kogi State, Anam in Anambra State, as well as Ila and Ebu in Delta State. Farmers here cultivate rice, cassava, and yam in the community. Rice is, however, the major agricultural produce in Ilushi. 20,000 hectares of rice farms and several kilometers of yam and cassava plantations are underwater. No thanks to the flood.
In this side, I have about 4 hectares of rice, of other rice, which I use about 300 and something thousand. The flood don't finish all. And the other side again, I get about 5 hectares. Flood don't finish, and that is about 600. And so everything now, just nothing we get for this year again. No lay wait till you just this so now remain. Nothing. The whole Ilushi water don't carry the whole of other rice we get.
Rice farmers in Ilushi are racing against the tide of destruction to salvage whatever harvest they can muster as the water surge through their farms.
The many one where they and now the farmers must more the pack now. I don't see something when I go chop. I don't see food when I go chop now. All of our food when I do. The water don't carry and finish. No anyone. They make now help us. Before when I go do rice, I go get like 50 bag or 100. But if I did now, this year now, only 4 bag now I get. I don't see food where me with my children go chop.
Driving along the coast of the river, there is no telling the difference between natural waterways and dry land. The Niger has risen far above its bank, flowing into Ilushi, drowning its lands and everything that stands on it.
They don't know how they will live, and they don't know how they will survive this coming year, because everything, all their hope has been destroyed by this River Niger flood.
It is now a yearly occurrence. In addition to devastating the livelihoods of the people, the flood runs ashore and takes along with it large sections of the coastline and buildings erected by the shore. As the water rages, the people lament loss of livelihoods. When the water recedes, they bemoan coastal erosion, leaving Ilushi in a perennial circle of pain. Elders blame this phenomenon on a poorly done and unfinished shore protection project, which has further reduced the coastline below sea level and increased the vulnerability of the community to the devastating winds of the flood.
About 5-6 years backward, the bank was higher than the river level. At the rainy season, when floods used to come, it will not overflow the bank there. But when those so-called dredgers came in the name of government, they came and instead of helping to dredge the Niger, they said that we are doing encroachment, that the landslide will not fall back into the river anymore. They made that place lower than the other banks.
It's a continual process. I think it's a work in progress. It's not been done completely. So apparently, natural disasters usually outrun whatever we're trying to make to prevent, especially with the embankment. The governor during the campaigns actually looked at it and said that he was going to revisit it quickly. And then this opportunity has come so that, and I'm very sure that as soon as this tide slows down, everybody will go back to have a review on how to build a reinforcement that would prevent this type of reoccurrence.
Odepe, Umunankwo, Obagwe, Akiliogidi, Omuzo, and Ogekpele are the most affected of 15 communities in Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State submerged in water. All 15 communities are on the coast of River Niger, spanning several kilometers. To better appreciate the degree of damage caused by the flood, we took a boat ride from Osamala through Obagwe to Akiliogidi. It is only by wading through the water to homes standing on a precipice of destruction that we understood the reality of indigents who chose to remain in the flood-sacked community. Akunewa Diallo and his wife are elderly citizens in Akiliogidi. They tell me they have witnessed similar disaster in the past. They lost property when they moved to camps outside their community, a mistake they do not intend to make the second time.
We just stay like this, they beg God till the water dry now. We will clear ourselves. I be make up from here around. No.
You no go fee come out for this house. So you no go fee leave our property and the others come out.
As the Wadialos stay in their home, living in the flood, children in Akiliogidi see the water as object of sport, while others take momentary peek for hope from cold rooms.
They can't go to the market. There's not even a market because all the markets are submerged. Their produce are gone. Some could not even not even harvest their yams or the fruits from the farm. Nothing.
Challenges brought about by the flood in Ogbaru are not only immediate. From the river comes our most unwanted companion, water hyacinth. The locals call it abiola, a seaweed with great destructive capacity. It threatens the fertility of the farmlands, a threat that will outlast the flood and impact in no small measure on the already sodden land when farmers go back to till the soil.
Look at the abiola now. The abiola is coming up, and anywhere you can see this abiola now. Without not removing of this abiola now, even the dry season, it will affect the ground well. When you plant something there, it will not achieve anything there.
But Ogbaru is only one of 6 local government areas impacted by the flood in Anambra State. Anambra West, Anambra East, Ayamelum, parts of Iyala and Oka North are also affected by the flood. These 6 local government areas constitute 60% of the total land mass of the state, 50% of which are underwater. In addition to destroying farmlands and property worth millions of naira, the flood in Anambra State displaced more than 600,000 persons. Anambra West local government area, for instance, is completely inaccessible.
The level of devastation we witness is not something only the state government can contend with. We are trying to see how we can partner with the federal government, partner with our international community, and have proper post-disaster needs assessment. So how do we rehabilitate these people, reintegrate them, and also how do we resuscitate their livelihood, their source of livelihood? It's not only farming, we have a lot of industries there. When you go to that Obaro axis, you have a lot of industries that have been flooded, submerged, and then those people are put out of work. So it's going to take a lot.
From the Umunzi-Anam Bridge, which is a link to communities in the local government area, the entire area is submerged and can only be accessed by boats.
We can't even worship again because they can't come out, because some of them doesn't have boat to paddle. So the flood has been deprived our members many things, their crops, their farm, their land, both the rice that they cultivate, the cassava, the yam, most of them could not harvest it.
We don't have any means of water to drink. Some people are converting themselves to Anambra East to go and find pure water. Sometimes someone is sick 5 days ago, there is no means of transporting her to hospital.
While in Umunzi-Anam, we encountered a ferocious guest that seemed agitated and determined to get out of the water. Stranded natives on the little dry land were not willing to share their space with any reptile. They saw to it that the unwelcome guest did not survive the flood. Rivers and Bayelsa State people are basically living on water. However, the experience of flood is beyond the ordinary for the people who seem to be at the base of the flow of all the flood water from River Niger to the Atlantic Ocean. It's a good time of the day to begin processing cassava to byproducts like cassava flakes, what we call popularly as gari, and of course other products. But for people in OKOBE community in AHOADA West local government area of Rivers State, this is a bad time in the year to harvest their cassava.
If not normal, we fit get like 15 bags, 20 bags for one farm. But at the stance that because of the flood now, we get like 7 bags. Instead of the farm to spoil, the whole thing to spoil, so that we'll get something to eat tomorrow, we will not get to farm to uproot them. No business, nothing again.
OKOBE is in a hurry to rescue cassava from the jaws of the water. So too is the water in a hurry to take over the land in the community. The leadership of the community blamed the huge impact of the flood on a fault in the construction of the Imbiama AHOADA section of the East-West Road.
How can 9 bridges that made us not to suffer flood now be reduced to 1? That's why we have yearly flood. Even if now government come to our aid by feeding us, by giving us food to give all this thing, that will continue again in another year. Since we know that this is not yet to be stopped, it's not easy to stop it immediately.
Schools located upstream serve as camps for people displaced by the flood. Children camped in the school reflect on memories of school days. They tell me that they want to go back to school.
Our school is full of water, no road we can pass. There is no teachers, there is no coppers. All the teachers and coppers have gone back to the village because of the flood.
Infants born weeks before flood sacked their homes are having difficult times surviving in the camp.
Must struggle, but I don't know.
From the mosquito bites, the children, they are affected by malaria and other typhoid.
But I still feel bad for those less privileged people who have mud houses. They will go back to their various houses and see that the houses are falling away. They start from square one to see how they can reactivate their house. What if they don't have the money?
Akinima, Joinkrama 1 to 4, Edagberi Better Land, Okaki, and other communities on the coast of the Orashi River in AHOADA West Local Government Area of Rivers State are also underwater.
Now it's 3 years, 3 good years. I spend my money and everything. After getting hope, the flood will come and will consume all. So there's much poverty, hunger and starvation in these areas that I'm telling you.
The situation is the same in AHOADA East and Abua Odua local government areas of the state. Omoko is a seat of power in Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area of Rivers State. It is home to several oil exploration companies. Omoko too is flooded. It is worse in neighboring Egbema. Ebocha is the entry point to Egbema. The Nkesa River at Ebocha has risen above the bridge connecting other communities like Ngbede, Aga, and Okwezi. Buildings closest to the river are covered up to their roofs, while some are completely submerged in water.
We are appealing to them that as usual, we are working in a concerted effort with the state to see that succor is provided to those communities. And I can assure in no distant time that succor will come from the federal government.
Bayelsa State has 8 local government areas: YENAGOA, Olbia, Sagbama, Southern Ijo, Ekeremo, Nembe, Kolokumo, Pukuma, and Brass. All 8 local government areas of the state are affected by the flood. YENAGOA, Southern Ijo, Olbia, Ekeremo, and Kolokumo, Pukuma are the worst hits in the state. Agudama Ikpetiama and Tombia Ikpetiama, 2 communities nestled on the bank of the river Nom, in opposite direction, have been overrun by the flood. Leaders in Tombia Ikpetiama say they have made concerted efforts to get the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to construct an embankment as a lasting solution to their perennial challenge.
I reminded NDDC again for them to come and sandfill the community and to pile the waterfront, because in every year the sea level is higher than the land. So from September, beginning of September till October, you see the water rushing into the community.
While many coastal communities in the state demand shore protection as a more sustainable solution to flooding, the major concern in AZIKORO, YENAGOA, is the health implication of refuge heaps now carried to homes by the water.
The flood has covered all the refuge we have, and the thing is moving into houses, causing a lot of diseases, causing a lot of problems in the community. We are really facing a major problem this time around.
This Bayelsa, before the flood come, we hear say flood they come. They supposed to open the canal before the water. Now when they come open the place, now see how the place is there now. Children they fall and the water no they move. Leg they tear, the water now they cause am. So sickness every day. You know, so this water now, it carry many things. They come.
AZIKORO community oozes a strong foul smell from debris littered indiscriminately and now floating in the flood. Open defecation further compounds the problems of AZIKORO, exposing residents to diseases as the flood spreads floating germs across the community.
Some people now, when they drag them at that time, then they just say, this thing, why they do no good. Even with this water, sickness day, somebody go still come still defecate for this the same water again. We say people they put leg.
We lost a young man in AZIKORO community due to snake bite, orchestrated by this flood. We are government is trying to put resources in place to mitigate the sufferings of the people, to give succor to the people.
From Udaba to Ilushi, Ogbaru to Anam, from Ebocha to Edagberi, YENAGOA to Odi, the 2020 flood occasioned by excess water from the river Niger surged through states in southern Nigeria, resulting in deaths, washing off coastlines, destroying livelihoods, displacing millions, and leaving behind trails of devastating consequences. This is a perennial challenge for Nigeria, which is located on the lowest portion
of the Niger Basin. Most of all, the huge loss leaves great lessons for all to prepare better when the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency gives flood prediction.